What?
Of you deciding to get a buzz cut live.
Didn't decide that. Did not decide.
I thought we all decided
never was
as
a
a team.
decision I was in. That was a decision you two made.
No.
And trying to force it on me. But I think there should be somewhat of an incentive behind this if I'm going to do that.
What do you mean incentive?
What do you mean incentive?
You're the
No,
one who brought it up.
Yeah, not on the show though.
You're the one talking about should I do this, should I not?
You were the one who-
On the show? No, I didn't say it on the show.
Did you not put out a poll and said you're at the mercy of the Booster Club? Jake?
Yeah, but I know at no point was it the mercy of the Booster Club that I was going to do on the show, as regardless of me getting the haircut or not.
Yeah, why you talk different than you did before?
Did not.
Why
I did
talk
not say.
different?
Clearly this is
Both of
something
know
you want to
this.
do.
We're not doing this on a Wednesday, guys.
Yeah, we are.
All right, we're not doing this on a Wednesday. I mean, I can think about it, but I need some sort of incentive to do it. And I might have something in the future coming up, which I don't know if I want to do it yet or after that.
Blind date?
Incentive.
No, it's not a blind. I won't say it's
Incentive-driven culture right here.
Oh,
Love
get off
Love
my
it.
lawn.
Get off my lawn.
It is
Get off my
Wednesday.
lawn.
We do that on
You know what? I might have to make
off
some
my
edits to this.
Will Notre Dame remain independent throughout conference expansion? Tony Barnhart's going to join us to discuss. Baker Mayfield is officially a Carolina Panther, and David Cohn tells a certain ESPN journalist to get off his lawn. Jake Crane. It's Wednesday. Welcome to Crane & Company. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, if Notre Dame wants to clap back after their all-time winningest coach bolted for the juggernaut that is the SEC, the Irish deciding to join the SEC as well would be epic on so many levels. Now, Notre Dame is without a doubt the prettiest girl at the dance regarding teams left out there that could possibly join a conference with their tradition, their following, and that juicy TV contract. Notre Dame could go from ducking the smoke to helping create the smoke with one quick decision. Imagine that first game, Notre Dame and LSU in Death Valley, or maybe LSU rolling up to South Bend in front of touchdown Jesus and everybody. The up-and-coming superstar coach, Marcus Freeman, trying to defend Notre Dame's honor against the CEO that is Brian Kelly. The Catholics versus the Catholics. Now, if this were to happen, I firmly believe that within a 10-year span, Notre Dame and LSU could be a top 5 rivalry in the sport. Now, geographically, it does make sense for Notre Dame to join the Big Ten. But we can all agree the regional component of a conference is out the window, considering USC and UCLA are going to be playing in a conference that you need at least 2 layovers to reach by plane. Now, I want to hear from the Notre Dame fans. Would you rather park it in the Big Ten or the SEC, the red pill or the blue pill? And remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Shout out Morpheus. Roll the clip.
You have to see it for yourself.
Man, who made this?
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Notre Dame is Neo. They are Neo right now. You got to make the choice.
Did Justine make that?
Go,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
unbelievably done. But from the mind of myself, of course.
Oh,
but
yes.
I know Notre Dame is probably not going to do it, okay? I get it. But we always talk about storylines in college football. And can you imagine the madness of Notre Dame coming to the SEC? The great reversal. I mean, it'll be the most important thing since the Great Flood.
When you say you know Notre Dame's not going to do it, do you mean join a conference or join the SEC?
I'm talking about joining the SEC. They're going to end up in the Big Ten.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I love your point of the geographical component of this
doesn't
is
matter
out the
now.
window, at least with this USC and UCLA edition. Before that, it's sort of, we were at least adhering to some sort of geography. I mean, I know Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, but at least with the SEC, it sort of, there was a geographical component to it. And when you look at Clemson, what makes the most sense? The SEC.
True.
I mean, geography aside, their biggest rival, South Carolina's in the SEC. You look at the other big schools out there, Florida State, or even possibly in North Carolina and Duke, who would kind of come together if you're looking at college basketball, I think it makes the most sense that would be probably SEC. So if you're the Big Ten, you have to go all in for Notre Dame. It's always made the most sense that Notre Dame should be in the Big Ten.
That's why it was so funny when they were in the ACC for a year. It was just weird to me. It's like they just picked a conference out of the hat. And again, I think it'd be great for college football. I think a lot of the college football fans would agree with me. I wonder, to Notre Dame fans out there, whether it's in the comments, whether it's in the chat right now, let us know which one you'd prefer.
Mac?
Maction?
Well, Maction action?
Stop it.
Don't join the SEC. It'll be the worst decision you ever made.
Tuesdays.
You will get slaughtered.
If they don't want to play Michigan.
Week in and week out. Notre Dame is soft. They've been soft. When they got to the SEC schools, they get ran through. Notre Dame reminds me of the kids when I used to play football. I'd come out of the tunnel doing this. If I saw them doing that, I knew, we were about to kill those kids. Go to the Big Ten. Don't go to the SEC. You're not ready for that smoke, buddy. I promise you that.
I don't know. Marcus Freeman, the way he's recruiting right now, it feels a little different in South Bend. Obviously, BK was the all-time winningest coach there, but Marcus is dogging it on the trail. Now, we're going to see in-game. We're going to see, running the whole program, getting everything set up. Are you able to insert the process the way you want it, to take a euphemism there from Nick Saban? But I do think Marcus Freeman may have a chance to help Notre Dame really get over the hump, not make the playoff, but I just feel like he is so connected with the players. And you're seeing it in recruiting. They are 100% going to play for Marcus Freeman. I never thought I'd see a day where kids are going to play for the coach at Notre Dame, not Notre Dame, the team. And I think you're seeing that with Marcus Freeman. I tell you what, if they were to come into the SEC, just like Texas and Oklahoma, it's going to take a little bit, to kind of get, acclimated to it and that. But, me and Cone were talking before the show, and it's like, all right, well, the SEC, and Cone, you made a good point. The SEC is fantastic because the South cares about football the most, and that's where the best athletes are. I'd agree with that. I think you'd agree with that. But if Notre Dame were to play in the SEC, you could now go into those homes in Florida, and Notre Dame's had success in the South, but into Florida, into Georgia, into Tennessee, into Alabama, into Mississippi, into Arkansas, into South Carolina, and say, guess what? We're in the SEC now, so at least half of our games, you're going to be able to see. Yeah. You're not going to have to go all the way up to South Bend. You're not going to have to go all the way out to Air Force or SoCal or go all over the country because we're independent to watch your kid play. You can watch him play and still live down in the South.
I thought this was the most interesting point of the conversation we were having earlier. And we're not talking about historically. I mean, you look at Southern Cal's been great at football for a long time. The Buckeyes, Michigan have been great at football. Even if you want to go as far as to say like Texas, Austin, even though they can kind of be considered in the South to some people. But at least the last decade and a half, right, when the SEC went on that big run, you can say that the South, the order of operations to me is not that Southeastern Conference schools have done better because they're in the SEC. Mm-hmm. It's that the SEC Conference schools have done better because the best players are coming out of the South, basically.
True.
So my question to you was, will Notre Dame benefit more from being in the SEC just from recruiting, even though the geography of the school is not going to change? Or can they still, recruit at the same level in the Big Ten?
Well, I think them joining a conference, whether it's the Big Ten or the SEC, is going to help them in recruiting.
Regardless of which one.
Regardless of which one.
You think if they join the Big Ten rather than stay independent, their recruiting would increase?
I think it would even increase. I mean, what Marcus is doing right now is unbelievable. But if they go from independent to actually joining the Big Ten or joining the SEC, I think that's a boost. Because if you're a player now, it's really weird the way Notre Dame schedules. They've had the teams they typically normally play, and then they spray it all over the place because they're independent. But now it's set. Now if you're in the Big Ten, you're like, man, we're going to play Ohio State every year. We're going to play Wisconsin. We're going to play Michigan. We're going to play Michigan State. To me, I think it's kind of more set, and it makes Notre Dame even more relevant. I feel like they enter the conversation even more. I think it is a good thing. I've been clamoring this forever. You look at how much it's helped them in basketball. They're in the ACC in basketball, and they love it. I loved, because basketball is different than football. You play more games, geographically it's a little bit different. But I feel like once they get into a conference, man, it's going to be a boost for them. And y'all know me. I'm not the biggest Notre Dame fan of all time. I'd love to hire Marcus Freeman. I said when they hired him, I think they made a great choice. You're seeing the benefits now in recruiting, and I think you're going to see those guys take up their level of physical play a notch because that's who Marcus is.
Well, last point here on the geography of this, when we were talking about USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten and, the distance that they would have to travel to play games, Notre Dame has been a rogue school that has traditionally had to travel. I mean, they go to USC and Stanford almost every season, or at least every other season when they have those away games. So they've been the one school that's like, we're going to set our own schedule, right? And we're going to play whoever we want anywhere around the country. So it doesn't seem like joining the SEC and having to play a lot of schools geographically in the South that would be that big of a thing for
but again, Notre Dame is playing those schools in the South. So now those kids that don't get a chance to watch Notre Dame, they're getting to see them every week.
At least, or every other week for sure.
I guess I wouldn't mind it. One, I wouldn't have to watch Notre Dame take up a playoff spot and get absolutely murdered if they join the SEC too. But doesn't Notre Dame have a certain academic standard for you to get in their school?
It is, but to me, it's not nearly as drastic as some of the places you're going to see. And Notre Dame is willing, in my opinion, to do what it takes. I think Notre Dame is one of those few people. Look, one call to the Vatican, guys. Listen, let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and, GPA, let's get it down. We're going to get GPAs down.
So Notre Dame would change their standards if they went into a new conference.
I don't know.
I think they would.
And I don't know if they're the only ones.
I think, look, there are some schools that are willing to lower GPAs to hire 40 times, and I think Notre Dame's one of them.
Well, how about Stanford then?
No.
How about Stanford?
I think
one of those ones that's
Stanford identifies as an academic school that just happens to have sports.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, to me, is a sports school that just happens to have really good academics. So I think in the
what about
pecking
Michigan?
order, Michigan? I don't know. Y'all are starting to fall apart over there. That's a different story.
It's a big question.
Y'all are going. Stanford is an academic. Look, I know Michigan's a good academic institution, but Michigan has problems on the inside. I don't think it's going to be a pure academic thing. I think it's a philosophical thing that's Michigan's problem.
Yeah.
But
all right, Colby Wilkerson, let's get it started at Booster Club. What's up on this Wednesday? Let's start hot. If Notre Dame chooses the Big Ten or the SEC for football, do they leave the ACC in basketball?
You would have to.
Have to.
You'd have to. I don't think the SEC or Big Ten would let them in if they just said, all right, we're just going to do football.
Why wouldn't you want everything in the same country?
It makes it easier. It's like, again, it's like napkins and stuff.
All right, Christopher Mowry, what's up, Chris? Hashtag Ask Crane & Co. How many conferences do we actually see existing in 2024 playing for the top championship?
In 2024, if we're talking about, because I think you're going to have a Group of 5 championship and end up having a Power 5 championship, I think you're going to have 4. So it's really Power 4. I still feel, you're going to have 4 16-team conferences starting out. They're going to continue to grow. But I will say, we're sitting here around this time, right before SEC Media Days last year, and all of a sudden we go to SEC Media Days, and they drop a Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC bomb. What bomb's coming this year?
It's coming.
What is it this year? Is it Clemson? Is it Clemson, Miami, Florida State? Is the SEC and Big Ten going to come together to battle the Klingons for interstellar domination?
Alliance?
Is teleportation going to be invented? Something's going to happen at SEC Media Days. I don't know what it is, but it smells funny. They always do this. They drop it at times like this to get the most exposure. Precedent is set. Who's it going to be? My bet would be at least Clemson.
At least Clemson?
At least Clemson.
Colleen Houston, who's a huge Notre Dame fan.
Okay.
So she said she's going to be a keyboard warrior today.
Okay.
She said Notre Dame already has an agreement with the ACC to play 5 games a year against ACC teams. So, it makes the most sense that if they just join a conference, they're going to join the ACC.
Then you might be having to rejoin one in a couple of years.
Yeah.
The way things are going now.
If the SEC were to poach Clemson and then Miami and Florida State, the ACC is going down like a sweet muffin. It's a Fall Out Boy situation. Thanks for the memories. I'm out. To me, an agreement, look, Notre Dame's got a lot of money. Go dig up one of the holes y'all got the bags full of gold in. You can get out of an agreement. I promise you can get out of an agreement. I do think, though, if I was gun to my head, Notre Dame's going to the Big Ten. But I just really, really wish upon a star that they would go to SEC. I really wish.
All right, I got a question here from Joseph. He says, the shopping down of different aisles because of the academic standards was just an excuse BK made, a.k.a. Brian Kelly, because he didn't want to put in the effort on the recruiting trail. Bold strategy, Cod. Let's
Shots fired.
Off for you.
Wow. I can't wait to see it. I know we have LSU fans in the chat. I can't wait to see this action. Because you want to talk about getting upset? You start talking about BK now, they get 13 flavors of pissed. It's like somebody spitting their gumbo.
All right, we got 2 things. One from River. He says, why does Blaine Crane still have hair? I thought we decided this yesterday. Y'all did win the poll. I'm getting it cut. But
River, I love where your head's at.
No.
Getting cut on the show.
The question is whether or not you're actually going to go through and buzz your hair. If you do, you're doing it on the show, Blaine.
No, I'm not.
Blaine, you're doing it on the show.
No, I'm not.
You know this.
Okay, well, look, I love where River's head's at. His brother Lake is also a great
question here from Ian, hashtag Ask Crane & Co. What's Notre Dame's cap in terms of wins if they do join the SEC?
Ooh, because divisions, we have to understand, if we're going to say that, are we saying there's divisions? Or are we saying there's not divisions? Because if there still is divisions in the SEC and they put them in the West, it's going to take some time. You put them in the East, may take a little bit of less time, but every time I say that now, for me, I'm starting to not believe myself about the East. Because I'm looking at Tennessee and I'm like, they're a problem. I'm looking at South Carolina. I'm like, Shane's going to turn it around. I got him going 2-6 this year. And I know a lot of my South Carolina buddies, including our buddy Spurs Up show over there, they're not exactly thrilled about it. But I think Shane's building it the right way. Florida with Billy Napes, the East isn't going to be just a walkthrough. We know what Georgia is, but Tennessee is really, really, the spidey senses are really starting to tingle. I picked him second in the East. I got him going 5-3. I got him losing to Bama. I got him losing to Georgia, and I think I got him losing at LSU or it's at Florida. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's going to take Notre Dame some time. I'm not a hypocrite. It is going to take Texas and Oklahoma a little bit of time. When you walk into a new jungle and you haven't fought the lions and then the biggest lion and then a lion that's almost the biggest lion that will about to be the biggest lion in a couple years, and wait, there's a lion cub that's bigger than any lion cub. It's Texas A&M. So, again, it's going to take some time. This isn't a walk in the park, okay? This isn't hey, we're Notre Dame. We're going to roll our helmets out of here and beat you. We may win by 3, but we're going to beat you. No, it is a different level each week outside of Vanderbilt. So you want to get to big questions?
Let's do it. We got 3 big questions today. But first of all, I will just say Rafael Nadal pulled off an epic 5-setter against the American Taylor Fritz.
I will say this, but Taylor Fritz, his wife, I don't care how close I got to winning. I don't care how much I lost by. I don't care if I ever won a major or whatever in tennis. His wife is a smoke parade. She is unbelievably good looking, and she was going nuts in the stands today. It was really cool to see. But Taylor Fritz is winning on so many levels.
We need some love for Nadal's wife.
We all know what
Nadal's wife. She's pregnant right now too.
Party this weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
What? Why you got to start bringing that up?
I'm saying. You're calling smoke shows out here.
Don't take a turn.
Reed's not watching the show.
This is because of the buzz cut thing, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah. You're a different kind of
I love working with brothers.
You're a different kind of evil,
all right,
man.
Let's move on here to the NFL because Baker Mayfield, just as I told Blaine a while ago, is officially a Carolina Panther.
You told me. Yeah, I bet.
Can you pull that clip?
Are there receipts on that?
I think so.
It's a recorded show.
We'll go into the archives and figure it out.
I didn't say both of them wouldn't make a mistake, okay, which is what I think they've done. But either way, let me read this off to you here. The Panthers traded a 6th plus a future 2nd and a 4th for Sam Darnold, okay? The Panthers traded 137 plus a future 3rd for Matt Corral. And now the Panthers have traded a conditional 5th rounder for Baker Mayfield. Did they get better today?
No. Okay, in theory, yes, because you added a veteran quarterback, and Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. I know I'm hard on Baker. I don't think he's this elite quarterback that everybody else thinks he is. I think he's kind of lost some of that moxie he had that made him, such a high priority and eventually a number 1 pick. I think it says more about Sam Darnold than it does anything. It shows you they don't believe. I don't believe. I believe in the Tooth Fairy more than Sam Darnold. And if you're in the car with your kids, listen to this, the Tooth Fairy is real. So that's how much I believe in her. But Sam Darnold, to me, again, has got a little bit of that Jameis Winston in him, even though I like Jameis better. He's just kind of goofy. They do things in goofy ways, but Sam, to me, Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback. But the best quarterback in the next 5 years isn't Sam Darnold, talking about on the Panthers roster. It isn't Baker Mayfield.
Who is it? Tell him.
It's the real Matty Ice, Matt Corral, and all-you-can-score buffet. That's what I'm talking about.
He has a shot. Blaine?
I'm not going to sit here and say I told you so.
Okay, well, then we'll move on then. We'll move on then.
Second question.
But I definitely told you so. I knew Baker was good enough to play on an NFL team. One, I knew he would never, ever take another snap for the Browns, right? And so the Panthers got better today.
The Browns won the trade.
The Browns won the trade. Well, I don't know if the Browns won. You trust Deshaun Watson? You trust Deshaun Watson?
He's going to get a year, just like I said.
Oh, so you're going to pay all that money for a year?
They weren't winning it this year. Baker Mayfield, it's a broken marriage.
Okay, but you're going to pay that guy all that money, and you don't know what he's going to do. Not at all. He just went through all this. Who knows what else he's going to do? You're going to pay him all that money, so you trust Deshaun Watson.
Okay, was it guaranteed money? Was it $240 million guaranteed?
Well, how much did he get?
A lot of it was, I think.
A lot of it was.
The whole thing.
A lot of it was. I don't want to sit here and say that the Browns got better when you're going to trust a guy who just went through all that and paid him that much money. So we'll see. We'll see if he's there next year for the full time until the next slip up.
Okay. Well, I don't think he's going to get caught in any massage parlors.
Sure. Well, hey, who knows? He might try to figure something out because you have to be a weird enough guy to go through that.
I think it was all guaranteed.
I swear it was. I think it was like 100.
I knew it was a lot.
So wait a minute. So you think the Browns should have kept him?
Baker?
Yes.
I don't think you should have went out of your way to pay Deshaun Watson all that money. Actually, you went through that. I think you'd have been fine with Baker. I feel like you could have built Baker a lot more pieces around him, get a better offensive line, a little bit better receivers. Odell was hurt most of the time. Jarvis Landry's getting old. I think Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be the day one starter for the Panthers. And who they play week one?
They're not making that.
Who they play week one?
The Browns. Let's go.
Funny. And it's going to be funny. You put a lot of marbles, a lot of your chips in the guy who just went through 66 masseuses in a month. So we'll see. And you gave him a lot of money for it. And the Browns have been known to do what? Make huge mistakes. Phillip Rivers said they've been through 30 quarterbacks, and they could go through another one. You got to get lucky. But the one thing I don't trust is Deshaun Watson not to do something stupid.
Here's why it was smart for the Browns to get rid of him. Very quickly, we'll move on. You already have a absolutely fractured relationship between yourself and the organization. That's not a secret. Anybody who knows anything knows that.
Sure.
The first time something went wrong on the field, you would have started to see those problems come back in force. Then it would have hit the locker room. Baker doesn't really want to be here. He doesn't really care. He got spurned by the Browns. Baker even said, Blaine, that the only way that this is working is if y'all come back to the table. It's a broken relationship. They had to move them, and they moved them. They got something good with it, and they did put their eggs into Deshaun Watson's
This started when they wanted to trade him. This started when they wanted to trade him. I'm not saying that, but if they didn't want to trade him, this wouldn't have been a huge ordeal. What do you mean? You're right. If they just paid Deshaun Watson all that money, you want Baker to go back and start for him? They are going to have to talk to Baker. They got Jacoby Forsett. If I'm Baker, you realize your worth. You know who you are as a quarterback, and you know how good you are. You're not going to grovel back to the Browns to play quarterback when you're good enough to start on another NFL team.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, Baker finally made the decision. This has been in the works for a couple weeks. You can ask Michael Lombardi. He had to take a pay cut. Baker had to decide to take a pay cut.
Million.
That's what happened.
He'd rather take a pay cut than go back to the Browns.
He'd rather
take a pay cut.
And that says a lot to me, too. That says a lot.
Good.
Baker wants to cut 3.5. He's like, look,
that
I'm going to start for the Panthers.
Bad the relationship is. Guess what? They're about to get slapped.
And that's all on Baker. That relationship's all on Baker.
No. I'm not saying it's all on Baker.
Okay, that's what it sounded like.
I'm saying it is what it is. At this point, it is what it is.
Yeah, after your trade, if you're Baker and they want to shop you around for a trade, and they go pay a guy all that money, you expect me to go walk back and play quarterback for you?
You'd rather?
Yeah, right. When I know I can play at another NFL team, I'm not going back to the Browns. Go to the Panthers. You'll probably start. You won't have the best around you, but I guarantee you they'll give you a chance, and not when the first thing goes wrong, they'll throw you under the boat like they do all the quarterbacks for the Browns.
I don't know. Baker throws himself under the boat and throws his other players in the boat. That's why they can't stand him in the locker room.
That's true, too. But the Browns are historically dysfunctional.
And
Baker's
of course.
only played for the Browns.
They're taking a
game. So
game.
now we get a shot to see Baker with another franchise.
Well, we're going to see.
You get a fresh start.
Yeah, better play good, bud.
Well, more than play good. Play good. You get a new chance to act right.
I can't wait to see what the Bucs and the Saints do with him. When he tries to do all the stuff he did at the Browns, they're going to treat him like Raggedy Ann or Stretch Armstrong or Mr. Potato Head. They'll be picking up pieces of Baker Mayfield in between the 20s.
Yeah, well,
I'll see.
You the Panthers, you're going to need a lot more than Baker Mayfield.
I like them.
The Saints are the Bucs.
I like them week one I like them week one against
Baker
the Browns.
Ain't doing it by
Put Deshaun on the Panthers, you're not beating the Bucs or the Saints.
I don't know. You got a better chance.
I don't know. All right, well, let's stay on the NFL quarterback talk then. Should the 49ers trade Jimmy G at this point, or are they going to release him?
Well, again, so what's going on with Trey Lance? Like, he's either ready or he's not. Like, I understand, trying to feel it out and to, you've had enough time. He's been through an offseason. You've seen him. You had him in on gadget plays. You've watched him practice. You've watched him operate. You got to make a decision. The 49ers got to stop just dangling this puppet in front of everybody. Either you believe in Trey Lance or you don't. Because if you don't trade Jimmy G, and I'll take Baker over Jimmy G. I've said that multiple times on this show. But if you don't trade Jimmy G, that says a lot more to me about Trey Lance than it does about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, I think John Lynch is on record as saying Jimmy G's too good to just release. We want to trade him. It's not that we don't believe in Trey Lance. We believe in Trey Lance, but we want to trade Jimmy G. But the same thing with the Baker situation.
Well, again, then trade him. If you believe in him, then trade him. I don't care what. And John Lynch is a great organizer. He's a hell of a player, number one. But I love John Lynch. He's a guy I think you'd run through a wall for. Mm-hmm. But if you believed in Trey Lance 100%, you know what did Marshawn Lynch say? You got to take care of two things. What? Your mental and your chicken. And if it's my mental and you're not going to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, who doesn't even know his grandmother cooks on Subway commercials, come on, man.
Well, something's going to happen before the season.
I don't know if it was something kind of behind the scenes here with Debo staying that maybe Debo wanted Jimmy G gone. You know, if I'm Debo, you need something.
I don't think that's a crazy theory.
You need something more. Trey Lance ain't the guy. I can sit here and tell you right now, Trey Lance is not the guy. I've seen enough. It's just like the backup in Green Bay. What is it, Jordan Love?
He's got some Taysom Hill in him, too.
Yeah, he's just not the guy. They're not the guy. I thought it would have been great for them to go get Baker, in my opinion. But if you want to shop Jimmy G around, I don't know what it really is out there for you right now. What's out there? What's better than Jimmy G out there right now?
Well, it just depends on what your needs are, because you don't have to go quarterback for quarterback, obviously. Again, if you're looking to stack picks, maybe you need another body. Maybe you're looking at somebody up front. I don't know. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. If I'm Trey Lance, I put myself in the mind of Trey Lance. If I'm Trey Lance and you're just going to keep, like counting crows just hanging around this corner with Jimmy G, like eventually I need to be the guy. You brought me in to be the guy, and if I've shown that I'm not the guy, then trade me. Release me. But don't tell me I'm going to be the guy and then make me sit around. It's like Jordan Love, right? They drafted Jordan Love, took 2 looks at him and said, nope, no shot. I've got some Jordan Love vibes with Trey Lance, because I think maybe, just like talking about Phillip Rivers, he said the Chargers nailed that Herbert pick. I think maybe the 49ers fumbled this pick a little bit.
Well, something's going to happen. Why don't we have Tony Barnhart coming up at 2:30. Why don't we save Chet for after that? We'll talk about some Chet Holmgren, and we'll go to Get Off My Lawn.
Yes, let's do it right now.
Let's do it. Set it up.
All right, so every Wednesday, typically we do this coming back from the sub break, but since we got Tony Barnhart, a.k.a. Mr. College Football, also known as the guy that's told people to get off his lawn before, Cone, this one's special. Tell him.
Let's wait for just 1 second here while we get the prompter.
The booster?
Yeah, hit me with the booster club real
Let's go
quick.
to the booster club. All right, David Vernon says Jimmy G goes to Seattle and hands off the ball to Kenneth Walker all year long. But I don't know what do you get if you're the 49ers from Seattle?
Again, Seattle's got the worst
Metcalf?
roster. Seattle may have the worst roster in all of the NFL.
I mean, it could be DK Metcalf, but other than that, I don't see anything else that you could get from him. Travis Elrod said, who is better for the locker room, Baker or Deshaun?
I don't know.
Depends on their any masseuses.
That's exactly what I was going to say. All right, Cone, they're all over your lawn. You ready to tell them get off?
I'm ready.
Do it.
Today, I am telling ESPN journalist Howard Bryant to get off my lawn.
Get off.
Independence Day is America's most important holiday because it's the celebration of this nation's birth. And this 4th of July was especially exciting for me because it was my son's first. Now, I wasn't expecting ESPN to publish anything patriotic because I know how evil patriotism is, but I thought that just for one day we could enjoy sports without an agenda. Wrong. On 4th of July at 6:55 a.m., just to make sure it was the first thing off the presses, ESPN published an article by Howard Bryant titled Baseball, Barbecue, and Losing Freedom on the 4th of July. This piece touched on a wide variety of topics, including Roe v. Wade, January 6th, 9/11, the independence of Palestine, all the hot sports topics. Now, trust me when I say I'm looking out for the best interest of the Booster Club when I refrain from reading this convoluted trash heap in its entirety. But there are a few details we should go over just so everyone is aware of the direction this country is heading. Like when Bryant mentioned the phrase, people who can become pregnant. Now, unlike my boss, Ben Shapiro's wife, I am not a doctor, but I believe the word you're looking for is women. Or how about when Bryant said the 4th of July has shifted away from family and towards nationalistic symbols? I guess we didn't get the memo, boys, since we all spent a weekend with our loved ones. But the main point Brian wanted to achieve with this piece was to reiterate that America is racist. He wrote, if the past several years have reinforced anything, it's that there has always been a separate set of rules exclusively for privileged white Americans. This is the same man who was arrested for choking his wife in public and resisting arrest when police officers intervened. Do you think Bryant served time in jail for hitting his wife and those police officers? No. All charges were dropped. Bryant Howard served 6 months probation and continued writing for ESPN so he could carry on informing us how racist and sexist America is. Meanwhile, our good friend Gina Carano was fired by the same company, Disney, for saying, "Don't hate someone for their political views." Kurt Schilling was fired by the same company for saying, "A man is a man." And Sage Steele was suspended by that company, stating she has reservations about vaccine mandates. Yet this man, Howard Bryant, beat his wife in public and got 6 months probation. You are privileged. You live in the greatest country the world has ever known, and you get to give your political opinions on air. Your colleagues can't even share theirs in private. You are the one who's privileged. So I ask just one thing of Howard Bryant and ESPN and Disney. Please keep it up, because every day you do, more people tune into this show. And when you look back and your entire audience is gone, hopefully then you will realize America is a country worth being proud of, and its citizens deserve better than a political agenda masquerading as sports. So get off my lawn.
Really good, Dave.
And look, the whole point is, again, you know, it's why we created this show. Like your ESPN on the 4th of July. Like, why don't we talk about some hot dog thing or some, you know, great moments that, like we did in American sports?
Yeah.
But no, you're privileged, man. But that was one of your best. I really think
You think
one
so?
of your best. Really think
Good.
But speaking of one of the best, let's get Tony
Let's get some
Barnhart in
college
here
football.
and let's talk some college football. Tony, what's up, my friend?
Simple, easy, non-complicated day in college football.
I know, right? Well, I want to start right there. Because obviously, you know, we talked yesterday about how much different college football is now from, you know, even when I was growing up and what you've covered in its entirety with NIL, transfer portal, conference realignment. How do you think the direction of football is going? Do you like it? Do you dislike it?
Well, it's not a matter of liking or disliking. It's what it is. And college football has always had to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the story about John McKay, the old Southern Cal coach. The NCAA made this change, and they went from 105 scholarships to 95 scholarships. John McKay walked in the room and says, "Gentlemen, congratulations, you just destroyed college football." So the point is college football has always gone through change. They've always found a way to head it in the right direction. We're going through a period of adjustment right now because nobody knows what the rules are. And if we did know what the rules were, we don't know who in the heck's going to enforce them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so we've got to go through this. But here's the irony, guys. The game on the field, the game that we see every Saturday is better than it's ever been.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know, the training and the level of athletes and kids coming out of high school and being able to compete at a very high level earlier, we're seeing it more than we've ever seen, even up front. You know, you got kids that are able to come out of high school now and play tackle in one of the Power 5 leagues. You haven't seen that a ton, or at least in aggregate this much in the past. But Tony, and again, I agree with some of the changes. My problem is kind of like you referred to a little bit. I feel like they let it all out of the bag at once with no guardrails. And whenever you build the parachute on the way down, you're most likely going to crash. But the product on the field is amazing. I do want to shift a little bit. We talked about Notre Dame at the top. Do you think Notre Dame, if they had to pick a conference, which one do you think that they should go in?
What makes sense for Notre Dame is the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame has, because of their location, South Bend, Indiana, they have got all kinds of academic relationships with Purdue, with the University of Indiana, all those things. And because of geography, that's where they should go. And financially, that's going to be, it looks like, the best opportunity for them. Now, can they get around all the legal maneuvers they're going to have to get around to get out of their deal with the ACC, or are they willing to pay? Again, their deal is for all sports other than football, but there's still a cost. There's still exit fees they would have to pay. Can they do it? We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, let's put geographical proximity aside for Notre Dame with the Big Ten. We know a lot that ESPN is driving a lot that's going on with SEC expansion, and Fox is driving a lot that's going on with Big Ten expansion. Notre Dame has historically had a great deal with NBC. How much are these television contracts going to play into the future landscape of college football?
Well, if the NBC wants to keep Notre Dame, they're going to have to pony up big time. Because I think they're only getting like $15-16 million from that particular deal. It's 6 home games. I mean, that's what it is. But for the kind of money that the Big Ten will be able to offer Notre Dame, it's all about it's about the eyeballs. People talk about this school and that school. It's really not about schools. It's about markets. And what market do you bring to bear? That's why last week's announcement from UCLA and USC was such a blockbuster. You got the number 2 television market in the country, and that's huge.
Yeah. Well, who is really leading the charge here? I mean, what is the ultimate end game? I remember I was telling these guys, I met with Coach Lloyd Carr over a decade ago over breakfast, and he said, we're heading to mega conferences. Well, that didn't mean much to me at the time, but now it's playing out. And we see, what is the ultimate goal here? Do we want to have 2 conferences of 30 teams each, and that's the new quote-unquote Power 5? They get to play for a championship, or is it 4 different conferences of 15 or 16 teams each? How should we tier these championships? What are your opinion on that?
Well, first of all, you speak as if there's some sort of master plan out there. There is no master plan. Okay. The SEC is looking out for the SEC, and the Big Ten is looking at what the SEC is doing, and they're looking out for the Big Ten. So now the question becomes, what is the next domino to fall? When Notre Dame makes a decision, that a lot of people are going to react to that. What if the Big 12, as is reported today, they go aggressive after 4 or 6 members of the Pac-12? Yeah, but it's like, guys, there is no master plan. I promise you.
Wait, Tony, wait.
Meanwhile, the NCAA is missing in action.
That's not good. Well, Tony, you mean to tell me there's not 6 guys in some cigar lounge underneath another cigar lounge that are plotting their way for college football domination?
Greg Sankey's job is to look out for the 14 members, soon to be 16 members of the Southeastern Conference. That's his job. Yep. His job is not to put together some great organization. Now, it may happen when it comes around and it's time to decide, what are we going to do about a college football playoff? What are we going to do? Well, who wants to play? Pac-12? Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not playing in this pool.
Well, okay? Too, and Greg Sankey may, Tony, I think if the NCAA does, go the way of the old person on the raft down the river in the village, and they put together some sort of, interconnected body, I mean, Greg Sankey would have to be first on the list, right, to be the commissioner of college football?
I would say that his performance in the job since he took over, he has certainly earned it. But it's going to be just fascinating to see what happens next. And if Notre Dame decides to join a conference, that is going to be huge.
For sure.
Hey, Tony, I want to talk about the Texas Longhorns. Sark got him another one. All right. When time stopped in college football, Arch Manning, the chosen one. Does Arch Manning lead Texas back to superstardom?
What Arch Manning can do, first of all, other than play pretty good quarterback, he's got guys that come in his coattails who are going to come to Texas because they want to play with him. And that's always been true, that high-profile quarterbacks have been able to do that. I still think Texas has got a pretty good ways to go to get their roster where it needs to be to compete with the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world. So what I would call Peyton Manning is a good start. There's a lot of work to do at Texas.
There is. But I do like what they're doing up front.
I got a question for the Booster Club.
Go ahead, one more, and then we let Tony plug what he does.
Tony Nason 95. All right, hashtag question for Tony. He says, what is your preferred amount of teams in the college football playoff?
Mine is 12. I think mine is 12. It has been 12 for a while because what it was coming down to is the other conferences wanted 8, and they wanted automatic qualifiers. Automatic qualifiers is a non-starter. Now that this has happened, you can totally forget about automatic qualifiers because the Pac-12 is not going to get a team in there just because they won the Pac-12. And so I like 12. It gets more schools involved. I think it'll be incredibly exciting. And with 4 teams getting a bye in the first round, I think it'll be good for college football.
What about the bowl games? How do you think they should incorporate the bowl games in that case?
Well, for example, if you have a 12-team playoff, you would take the 6 New Year's Day bowls that you have right now.
Yep.
4 of them get to host quarterfinal games, and 2 more get to host semifinal games. You take up those 6. Now, do you expand that to get more bowls involved? They want to play one of these rounds on campus, which I think is a really good idea. So it just depends. But if I'm sitting as a bowl executive director, if I'm not one of the chosen 6 right now, I'm a little bit on the nervous side.
I agree. Well, Tony, I appreciate you coming on. We must be getting close to football season, man. You can smell it. It's right around the corner. Always love talking to you. Love your work. Tell everybody, our audience, where they can find your stuff.
Well, I'm in business with some of my old newspaper buddies. We have a website under the SI.com umbrella, the Sports Illustrated umbrella, SI.com/colleges/TMG. TMG stands for the media guides.
Yes.
That's what us old guys do. We got the young guys how to maneuver all this stuff is going on. And so we've been in business for about 5 years together. It gives us a place to call home, and all the stuff that we've written on this subject is up right now for people to read.
Definitely. And has the party stopped in Georgia yet, Cincinnati, or is it still going?
The party will never be over.
All right, Tony, I appreciate it so much, my friend. Let's talk soon.
All right, guys. Be good.
Thank you.
Right. If you want to listen to the rest or watch the rest of the show, head over to thedailywire.com, become a member, listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with all your friends and your family. Because, hey, can't not tell your family. We'll be right back. All right, again, special thanks to Tony Barnhart coming on. Got some more great guests coming on this weekend next. But we dropped our SEC predictions a couple weeks ago, and it would only be right for the next set of predictions to be the Big Ten, or at least what the Big Ten is right now. I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but at least what it is right now. So we're going to start with the Big Ten division that everyone forgets about, and that's the West, because it doesn't have Ohio State, doesn't have Michigan, doesn't have Michigan State, but I'll tell you who they do have, Conathan. They have Purdue, Aiden O'Connell, Braum out there with the witchcraft and wizardry, dialing it up like he worked at AT&T. Here's what I got. Purdue's going 7-2 and winning the division. Yes, I said that. I'm channeling my inner Joe Tiller. Wisconsin's going 6-3. They're going to finish second. I don't believe Graham Mertz is good enough. I just don't. He struggles throwing the ball. You know Wisconsin's going to have a bunch of 6'9" white monsters up front. They're going to be able to run the ball. That's what they do. Then Iowa, 5-4. Look, I just don't believe in Ferentz, especially the son. I mean, the dude struggles. I don't know if he could draw a play up on an Etch-a-Sketch that worked. So I know Iowa's going to be really good on defense. You lose Linderbaum, who was an absolute animal up front. But Iowa stays with backs. They're always going to be good up front. That defense is going to be really, really, really nice. But I got Iowa going 5-4. Nebraska, 4-5. Is it enough for Scott? Depends on how you do in the non-conference. So the Casey Thompson move to Nebraska, I like, but he looks just like Adrian Martinez. Just like him in the way he plays a little bit. But I do think he takes care of the ball, and I think he's a more coordinated runner. Even though Adrian was a good runner, he's a more coordinated runner. Then I think PJ is going to row the boat right in about 5th place. That's what it looks like to me. They're going to beat a couple teams they shouldn't. They're going to lose to a couple teams that they shouldn't. Minnesota's just going to be mid. Starts with an M-I, might as well add a D as the third letter. Then Illinois. I love the Brett Bielema hire. It may be, I don't know if Brett Bielema is as good of a fit as Sam Pittman is to Arkansas, but man, the Brett Bielema fit in Illinois just feels right. Got him going 3-6. He still needs some time. That roster he inherited does struggle, and I do want to make a point. I said the Seahawks had the worst roster in the NFL. The Falcons are a close second. They are a close second. I just wanted to make that caveat in there. But I got Illinois going 3-6. Then Northwestern. Look, I love Pat Fitzgerald. Love him. Love him.
Khaki shorts.
Guy's an unbelievable dude. I just don't think they have the cats. They lost a bunch off last year's team. So Northwestern, cellar dwelling this year. I got them going 1-8.
Bring mine up. and I want it to be known that we have Purdue both winning the Big Ten West, going 7-2, and we did not collude.
We did not collude on this.
Completely separate.
I mean, look, you had number 2.
Aiden O'Connell, but then I knew that y'all wouldn't have this number 2. Nebraska Cornhuskers, Blaine, coming back
strong.
You
want this so bad.
Huh?
You want this
yes.
so bad. You
yes.
really do.
You
I'll
can't
never
handle the
understand
truth.
It.
Scott
You
Frost.
just want it so bad.
Going to be there for a long time, Blaine. All right, going 6-3, coming in second. Iowa has a tough schedule. I think they're going to go 5-4. And Wisconsin, let me pull up. Wisconsin has to go to Ohio.
I do want to say this, though, real quick.
Yeah.
Christopher Mowry's 8-0. I know you got to bounce, Chris. 8-0. There's the announcement. You didn't miss it. Sorry, Kel. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
Go ahead,
We'll
Kel.
talk about that later. Okay. Look, Wisconsin has to go to Ohio. Wisconsin has to go to Michigan State, go to Iowa. They have to go to Nebraska. I have them going 5-4 this year. I know they traditionally win the Big Ten West, and then the rest plays out similar to yours, Jake, except I have Northwestern going 0-9.
Oh, for Gopher?
Tough.
I think I got to beat Illinois at home. I want to say it's the last game of the Big Ten, but don't quote me on that.
Hey, Nebraska still loses to Georgia Southern, though. I just want to be on the record.
Dude, I'm guessing it's at Nebraska, obviously.
Yeah, it's at Nebraska. Okay. They lose to Georgia Southern, still go 6-3, finish 2, and it's a resurgence.
For sure.
You do really want, you listen, I don't know if you're going to be able to make fetch a thing, Gretchen, but if Nebraska does hit, I will give you credit.
Fetch.
If they fire Scott Frost, is that going to be a get off your lawn?
Not if he deserves it.
Hey, look, you can go.
If he goes, I mean, what this would be. So I'm losing to Georgia Southern. So I think 7-5, 7-5, right? But second in the Big Ten West. You
got to keep them.
They go 6-3 in the Big Ten West. They may build a statue of Scott.
All right, pull mine up. I spent probably an hour 15 minutes doing this, and I looked at my phone. It was the exact same as Jake's. So,
oh my God, the records are the same.
Yeah, so I was surprised on doing that. I wasn't going back and changing anything to be different. This is what I thought. Purdue 7-2. The only thing that scares me about Purdue is their defense. Their offense is good. It should be okay this year, but I don't know if there's going to be as good as people think, but I do trust their quarterback. Wisconsin 6-3, Iowa 5-4, Nebraska 4-5. Bye, Scott.
No.
See ya.
Scotty's fired.
Scotty's not on fire.
Scotty got fired.
Minnesota 4-5, Illinois 3-6. Hey, Wildcats, get you one, baby. Get you one. Vanderbilt will have a better record, though.
Whoa. You got Vandy winning a conference game?
I don't know. I have to go back and look.
Oh, don't go over here saying something about Vanderbilt winning games now.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's better if Northwestern wins one conference game and Vander doesn't win a conference game but keeps it close with some people, if that's not a win for me.
I need the dub. I need the dub, and I need it's like J.G. Wentworth. I need the dub, and I need it now.
Do you need it now?
Do you have something cash
settlement? What if I started calling you
Young
Sheldon?
What?
Can I call you Young Sheldon?
Yeah, I'll call you Buzz. That's fine.
He has his own show. I mean, it's the correlation right there.
Yeah, I'm start calling you Buzz Lightyear.
That movie was disgusting.
I know. Well, don't make a second, ninth Toy Story. Anyways, I like the predictions.
Wait, who do y'all have Northwestern beating?
I got to beat Illinois.
I think I'm beating Illinois.
I got to beat Illinois.
Okay.
But guys, I'm telling you, that Brett Bielema hire was a good hire. It was a good hire. I mean, Illinois last year. You want to talk about Nebraska? You talking about Scott Frost?
Beat Nebraska.
I remember watching that one, bud.
They beat Nebraska as my son was being born. It was the week 0 game. I said, son, this is not how football works.
Yeah, close your eyes.
This is not good.
Yeah, and then Michigan makes
Alabama plays later.
I feel like your son may be the one that goes to Michigan and pulls the sword out of the stone.
At Michigan?
Yeah, I think he's that. I think he's that guy.
Well,
I think he
is.
is.
Very kind
and
words.
Speaking about being that guy, this guy is going to go over the board of illustrious truth.
Illustrious truth today.
Yes, and that's what it is. Placer, get out of my way.
Did
All right.
you see that, Blaine?
Pick him up.
Did you see what he just did to replacement cone?
What is that?
That's what he gets for talking all that trash.
After David's get off my lawn, where he's going to beat up on replacement cone like that?
Well, he needs to watch his tone.
Pick him up.
I'll think about it.
Come on.
All right, I do want to say, before I read my bets today, to everybody that is associated with the Florida Marlins organization, when I take you -1.5, and you're up 2-0, and at home, and it's the top of the 9th, and you give up a solo home run, I just want to tell everybody involved in that organization, from the top to the bottom, from the owner of the team to the bat boy, I'll never forgive you, and I'll never pick you again. So today, Phillies, Aaron Nola on the mound. My second favorite Nola is +100. Give me Phillies -1.5. All right, obviously a Braves fan, but I'm rolling with the Phillies. Almost went nerfy today, but then I looked and saw that Slovenia, Bratislava, Katakasri, whatever you call it, the team that Luka's on, is only favored to win -145.
I don't think he's playing.
You can. What?
I don't think he's playing.
That's fine. Look, I've seen stuff in World War II. I believe in Slovenia. So give me Slovenia -145. Please, guys, don't blow this for me. All right, what do you got, Blaine?
Oh, well, I'm going second today?
Yeah, I'm going
switching it up a little bit. I don't like that. Go ahead, David.
You don't like it?
I don't like that. It's bad juju.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Angels.
Blaine's running away with it.
Yeah, he's running away with it over there. We got to
7-1.
switch it up. Angels first 5 -0.5, going off at -120. With who on the mound? Shohei. You hear that, Blaine? Shohei. Let's get a first 5.
Oh, hey!
And then, little game parlay. Braves money line and the under at 8.5.
Wow.
Max Fried on the mound.
Plus,
He's so good.
Plus 215.
man's trying to unit.
Let's hit.
All right, replacement cone. I'm glad to see you back up and doing well. All right, hey, Nerfies.
You're on the Nerfy train.
They've been treating your boy well. You live or die by him, though. All right,
Oh,
so I'm
you
only
do.
taking one today. I saw your parlay today, and I got to thinking. I looked it up, Max Fried. I saw a bunch of numbers, took the limitless pill, and everything started changing. Okay? So I'm taking Nerfy, plus 120, Cincinnati, Reds, Mets game. Nothing about you tell this is going to hit. And that's why it's going to hit. Or maybe not, but it definitely will.
He said he took the limitless.
All right, then I'm going Braves. I saw Max Fried's on the mound. Hey, minus 1.5, killing the Cardinals right now. I think they won 7-1 last game. Take it minus 1.5. I like this. Maybe 6-1, 6-2, 6-1. Got it under at 8. Maybe
8.5.
8.5.
I'm glad I gave you all sorts of ideas then.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember
I
the
process things.
You remember the time like a month and a half ago when the Braves were 9.5 games back, and I said the Mets are going to fall apart, and the Braves they'll be down 3 games by the All-Star break. Whew, really setting up that way. It's looking good. Chop on, baby cone. Houston first 5 minus 0.5. So that's minus 165, and then Halep versus Rybanka. Is that how you say it? Something like that. Here, use your
Rybakina. Rybakina.
Yeah, Rybakina. We're going to go with that. Over 9.5 games in the first set. Got to get used to these tennis bets. I'm not going to lie. You guys are kind of throwing me for a loop.
Yeah.
We've done F1 before. I mean, hell, we had a hot dog eating one time. But for some reason, the tennis names throw me for the loop. But we'll see how it goes. 18 and 14 on the month. In the green, keeping it what, Blaine?
Yeah, he's it.
Yeah. So here's what we got. Barefoot Cowboy is 8-0 and is a Hall of Famer. Congratulations, Barefoot. You hit it in the grace period. We said yesterday we were going to move it to 10-0, but there's a 24-hour grace period.
Yep.
He was 7-0, and he hit it within the 24-hour
Congratulations, man.
You're a Hall of Famer. There's White Bear Boots. He's going to try and keep going. And by the way, Cercio's doing pretty well, too. I'm going to get to that. Rangers and Orioles. Nerfy, plus 105. That's plus 105? Man, that may be a personal. B. Cercio, 6-0. St. Louis, Atlanta, Nerfy, surprise. JT Bryan, 91, 6-0. Mets money line, minus 162. Kyle Jenkins, 6-0. Red Sox, Rays, Nerfy. We have turned.
I don't like this.
We have started a cult.
I don't like
Katie
this.
Rose, 1191, 4-0. She wants Randy Arozarena over just to get a hit at minus 200. Burn the Squirtle. It's 4-0. He really turned the tides. He wants he's going to go Dodgers, Rockies, total runs, alternate line, under 10.5, minus 165. That's a lot of words. EJ Runis, 3-0. He's going to go Cleveland versus Detroit Nerfy, minus 140. AC Green, 082, is 2-0. He wants Shohei over 7.5 Ks at plus 110, pumping that medicine. Sammy V's 2-0. He wants Guardians, Tigers. Under a half run the first inning, it's Nerfy. I love it. Life _ 09022 is 2-0. Tigers money line, plus 160. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We will see if it pays off.
Tigers money line. Dangerous words.
Yes. Hunt, I want to know, was Matthew Hutton, did he have the Marlins? He said we were bet buds yesterday. Did he have the Marlins minus 1.5?
I do not know.
Because I just want somebody else to be as miserable about it as I am.
I looked in and I saw
Misery loves company. I need
saw
some
him
company.
2-0. I saw him 2-0 go in the top of the ninth, 1 out. I was like, great bet, Crane. I was like, great bet. And then
So it's your fault.
I went back and looked at it.
So it's your fault. I knew something was up. I knew something was up and something was wrong, and you did it.
It's my fault.
Okay.
All right, Jay Hudson Reflections.
You're probably not going to miss another
All
bet
right.
this month.
Jay Hudson Reflections, he's asked this question 4 times, so let's go ahead and get it out. So if this needs to be more time, I'll send it in as a mailbag. You're good. We got time. What would you guys propose as a solution for the growing frequency of position players having to step in and pitch in MLB games lately?
I don't blame them for doing it. I understand the theory behind it when it's so far gone. But that's why I feel like you need to cut down the regular season. Get it to 120 games. You'll give guys more rest. Not that this will never happen. And we are seeing guys that can kind of go both ways. I said this a little bit about when they introduced the universal DH. We've seen instances where pitchers have come off the bench to hit. You remember a guy named Mike Hampton, Jacob deGrom? I can go down the list. I mean, you got guys that can hit. Scherzer can hit. So while I understand it in theory, it's just another reason why they need to cut down the regular season in Major League Baseball. Put it to 120 games. You get 4 games a week. You'll get extra rest for the pitchers. You'll get less Tommy Johns. You'll get less injuries in general. It's just smart, but Rob Manfred's a commissioner, so they're going to do the opposite of smart because he is a stupid man.
All right, 2 things here. All right, Ryan Coaster says, I went 11-0 and still didn't make the board.
Wait, who?
Ryan Coaster.
Coster, I'm guessing. 11-0 still don't make the board. Well, Ryan,
we'll look into that.
We're going to look into that. And I know we already got you, I believe, on the Hall of Fame board over here. But 11-0, because we're trying to track the highest person who even goes past 8-0. I need to see what his Twitter name is.
Yeah,
Can't remember what the
we'll
Twitter
look into
name
that.
Tom, send in his Twitter name.
Yes.
Send it in. If it's 11-0, look.
All right, now I'm going to answer probably the easiest, question I've ever seen on the show. Devin21 says, question for Blaine and Jake. If you had to pick one rival for Auburn to beat this year, who would it be, Bama or Georgia?
Georgia.
Really?
We haven't beat him in forever. We beat Bama all the time.
Bama.
We beat Bama all the time. Auburn cannot beat Georgia right now. They just can't do it. They're not going to do it this next year.
I'd rather beat Bama.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. We beat them before. Kick 6 will live forever. Georgia, come on, man. People say prayer and Jordan Hare, but yeah.
That proves that Iron Bowl's the second greatest rivalry.
You just did that to
No,
yourself.
it's not, because
You want
we
to
already
beat Georgia
know.
more.
You just did that to yourself.
You know what? You
See
just
that?
manipulate.
You see, I'm
really
just sitting here
dug-
observing.
you
I'm
really
just an
dug
I'm
down
just a
for
fly
that
on the
one.
wall, observing the conversation here.
Okay.
You know,
what, Bama? Bama.
your
I'm
heart,
wrong.
your heart sounds
I
like
had
I'm related
amnesia.
to it.
Oh, I had amnesia. Bama.
Jimbo Eagle, Mount Rushmore of athletes, Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, Tom Brady, and Joey Chestnut.
Of course. I put
absolutely.
Joey first. And none of them beat up a protester in the middle of a championship. That's just me. It's how I live my life.
Also, I have to get to this. Chet Holmgren balled yesterday. I got to get your thoughts here on Chet Holmgren. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 blocks. I feel like I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Just go ahead and run the clip. Let's just run it. I got a little bit to say about this, David. Let's go ahead and run the clip of whatever this is running up the court.
Slenderman?
Ooh, look at this.
Slenderman.
Boom, Summer League. Bam.
It's nice. Look. Chet Holmgren, as I have said, and again, he's 9'3". He's got a nice jumper. He's got tools. You can see him here. He's got nice handles. But I'm going to tell you something, Cone. As we're watching him here on defense, okay, little block party there, but the first charge he takes from Giannis, he's going to spontaneously combust in the paint. So my thing with Chet is this. I get it. You're balling against a JV team, man. You switched high schools. Everybody's talking about it. You're huge for your age. You're balling against a JV team. I got to see it live. You were picked that high. I get he can do some good things, but I still don't think, look at him right there. Look, the man almost tore his ACL running down the court. I'm just telling you, he's put together with glue and popsicle sticks. He's not going to last 3 months. Geppetto put him together.
Got to put weight on. He's got the skills. He's got to put weight on. It's not going to matter.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
really don't think it's going to matter, especially when you get to play those big boys. You get in the playoff basketball.
Do you know what
It's
Jokic
not
would
gonna-
do to that
it's
man?
not going to matter.
What about
Not even
KD?
Jokic. You
What
play
about
against-
KD? He never really put on
Jokic.
weight
KD's
like that.
different. He ain't moving like KD. He ain't shooting like KD.
Yeah, I know.
He ain't
I
got
know
the
he's
handle
not
like
now.
KD.
I'm just saying,
He never will.
Is that the goal for? Is the goal for him to be like, okay, how closely can I emulate KD's game, or is it to be like, all right, I need to put on as much weight as possible?
I see him as a Porzingis type, but a little bit of better dribbler, I guess. Somewhat. I don't know if he can shoot as good as Porzingis from the 3. And Porzingis got a little thicker, too, throughout the years. But I don't see him being the hype that everybody sees that he's going to be. He will never be better than Jabari Smith at the game of basketball.
And I was watching Jabari a little bit with the Rockets, got a little Euro and took it to the basket. Even Bruce Pro retweeted it. It makes a lot of sense. Starting to make a lot of sense. And look, like I said, I'm not saying Chet's going to be a bad player. I'm not even saying Chet's going to be a huge bust. But he is not going to be this top 50 NBA player of all time after 10 or 12 years. If he puts on some weight, I think he's going to give himself a chance because he does have a lot of game. But I just feel like he's a little bit overrated, and it makes me a little nervy.
Okay, we want some more questions, or we good to go? See, the Pirate says, do the Steelers and Kenny Pickett sweep the Browns this year? Browns going to lose a lot of games.
Look, the Browns knew they were losing a lot of games this year. They knew this one, it's going to be hard to get your hands on a lot of wins this year because you signed a guy that got a lot of hands on him. But, all right, one more, then we'll ride.
All right, one more. Devin21 says, the obsession with Chet Holmgren just baffles me.
Me too.
David Atkins says, in the playoffs, you'll find out that's when it really gets physical. Jimbo Eagle says, remember how badly Sean Bradley was hyped up back in the day?
That's a great comp. And I watched Arkansas, and I know Chet didn't have a horrible game, but Arkansas brought that fight to him. Arkansas bullied him a little bit, and Chet's not soft. Like, again, it's just physics. I'm sorry. It's physics. It is what it is. If I threw you off an upper deck, you'd fly like a paper airplane. It's not on me. It's on you.
Travis Elrod says, NBA all-time starting five, MJ, Kobe, Magic, Bird, and Elijah Wan. No, why is LeBron not in there?
That sounds very similar to my top five.
Why is LeBron not in there? Hashtag grow up.
I like that topic.
Grow up, dude.
I like that.
Grow up.
Yeah, and his name's Chet. He's the second best Chet. Chet you betcha is the best. But, all right, Coney.
I had a comment here from a fan named Matthew I wanted to share based off what we were talking about yesterday. This was on yesterday's episode. So I started watching college football as a kid around the turn of the century. Today's version is almost completely unrecognizable. Bowls used to be meaningful. Players opting out ruined that. Not to mention they're throwing the whole team under the bus by bailing on them. Conference realignment is destroying tradition. No more Pac-12, Big Ten, Rose Bowl after this latest round of realignment. For example, NIL and the transfer portal have basically made it to the NFL, have basically made it the NFL for 18-year-olds. If universities and players want to argue that these changes are fair, that's fine, but don't expect people to stick around when everything that made us fall in love with college football is gone.
What did I say? Some people are not going to like that new lasagna. Mm-hmm. Maybe she put some more vegetables in there. Maybe she used some low-fat cheese. It may be a little bit healthier. Somebody said, I'm going to be honest, when I said it may be a healthier lasagna yesterday, somebody said it's not healthier. Man, that's Stouffer's. But I'll be honest with you, I like Stouffer's, but it isn't healthy for you.
But it's not Mama's.
Yeah, it's not Mama's. I know, you're not recognizing the lasagna, and that's, I get it. Like, I totally understand that way of thinking. We're from the same wavelength, man. The same wavelength.
This isn't your grandfather's college football anymore.
No, it's not. It's
new.
not. But guess what?
Might be new, and then sometimes new things are scary. But I promise you, just give it some time. It's going to be all right. It's going to be fun. It's going to be new teams jumping up. Texas A&M, Texas, USC. So it's not the same thing. So we just landed on a new world. We just landed on a new planet, guys. We got to explore for a little bit. We might hate it right now. It's kind of different. The weather sucks. There's monsters running around. Just give it some time. We'll adapt, and we'll thrive as a society. College football will be okay. I promise you that.
Well, I hope there's just enough oxygen to keep us around long enough to give that a chance to happen.
I like the old lasagna.
Yeah, that old lasagna is pretty fire.
We quit talking about lasagna, guys. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I know. And our grandmother makes
the best lasagna I've ever had.
It's not even
I've heard about this.
Oh, dude.
Like I said, what did I say yesterday? Like, that lasagna is rated, those hands are rated E for everyone. All right, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you're subscribed to everywhere. Got some more great shows coming up. Shout out Tony Barnhart. We're on TikTok, all that stuff. Appreciate you guys. And like Blaine's hair on a live show soon, we're gone.